Welcome back to ESCMID TV. I'm Michael Jackson, and with us in our studio now, Annetta Zintl, who's based in Dublin in Ireland, and just presented an amazing paper this morning here at Congress on day 2 on babesiosis. So Annetta, lovely to have you with us in the studio.
Thank you very much.
A specialist in babesiosis. Tell me more.
So Babesias are not very well researched because they're primarily veterinary parasites. But there have been a couple of cases in Europe of Babesia infections in humans. And these are very rapidly fulminating diseases, which are usually fatal. In fact, until a few years ago, until a proper treatment regime was developed, they were always fatal. So the very first case was described in the 1950s in a fisherman who also had a small farm in Yugoslavia, the former Yugoslavia, and he contracted this disease, which was transmitted by ticks from his cattle, and he got very, very sick very quickly and died. So for a long time it was confused with Plasmodium, the causative agent of malaria, but more recently we know that it's Babesia.
Because I have heard it referred to as the malaria of the north.
Yes.
But you dispute that effectively.
Well, clearly, yes. It's related to Plasmodium, but it's a different organism. So it's transmitted by ticks, not by mosquitoes, and it has to be treated very differently. So treatments for Plasmodium will not work properly or cure Babesia infections in humans.
So in terms of the paper that you presented to us at Congress today, what did you want the audience to walk away with?
The focus of the paper was partially on the methods that we use to identify species in general. So this has been always a matter of debate, what defines a species. And for Babesia infections in humans, a huge range of species and subtypes and subspecies have been described, both in Europe and in the US and in Asia and Africa. But we know very, very little about these because they're often just described once from a human case and that's it. And often we only use molecular methods to describe them, and then we have a little bit of clinical background from that particular case that they occurred in. But I'm starting to wonder whether the molecular methods that we're using are very valid because it turns out that they're not terribly representative of the biological differences between these isolates.
So obviously in a platform like an ESCMID brings you to find your fellow colleagues around the world who are working on this particular area, must be of great benefit to you as well.
I was really interested to see how microbiologists would respond to this, because it is this problem of molecular identification using DNA for identification is a problem that is also well recognized by people working with bacteria, because everyone does it because it's so easy to do, but I think sometimes it's necessary to step back and decide how well do these methods actually work.
Well, you presented a marvelous paper as well, and thank you for being with us here on ESCMID TV today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.